Hello everyone. In this video I am going to talk about HTML or Hypertext Markup Language. It is the language used for creating web pages. Now what is a web page? A web page is a document that you see on the internet with the help of a web browser. In a web page, you can see the contents of different types like the text, images, presentations, PDF or videos, and even the links to the other resources on the internet. So using the same document, you are able to access the different types of resources. And this versatility of the web page makes it the most popular document format. HTML was developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991. He started with the project in the year 1989 while he was working at CERN. CERN is European Center for Nuclear Research. While working at CERN, Tim Berners-Lee observed that it was very difficult to collect the information from the different computers used by the different researchers working there, as the researchers came from the different parts of the world and they all had their own languages, their own computer systems and their own documentation system. So in order to collect the information, one was required to log on to the different types of computers, and sometimes one had to learn a different computer language for each computer. So he came up with an idea of a hypertext system in which all the existing documentation systems could coexist and could be interlinked. In this concept, each page that you would see on the screen will contain information and link to another information. So he started with working on the project in the year 1989. He created the web server, which was the first ever web server, and a web browser, which was not only a browser to see the pages, but one could edit or create his own web page and could save it with the links. He called this web browser as World Wide Web. Notice that there is no space in the three words. He also designed the key technologies for the web. For example, he developed Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is a set of rules for transferring the data across the web. He also designed a new web addressing system, that is URL, with the help of which we tell the location or the path of a resource or a page on the internet. And he developed a new format for creating web pages, that is HTML. So using this format, that is HTML format, we can create the documents which can present the information of different types in the same application, that is a web browser. He did all this on the Nextcube computer, which was designed by Steve Jobs. In the other diagram, you can see the web page being displayed on the computer on which Tim Berners-Lee developed the whole project, which he named as www. However, this project was initially named as Information Management, a Proposal, but finally he created it with the name www. The person with him you can see is Robert Callew. He had proposed the first hypertext system for CERN in 1987 and collaborated with Tim Berners-Lee on the World Wide Web. The first web address was http://info.cern.ch, and the address of the first web page was http://info.cern.ch/hypertext/theproject.html. It provided all the technical details of the project, and one could learn about the hypertext and how to create a web page and how to search the web for information. The first page was published on 6th of August 1991. According to Tim Berners-Lee, nobody should have to seek for his permission to surf the web or do anything on the internet. He wanted the web to be open and free so that it could expand and evolve as rapidly as possible. For the same reason, with strong efforts of Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Callue, CERN declared and promised not to charge royalties on the web. So, since April 1993, the source code of www was available to the public, and had it been patented by CERN or kept by Tim Berners-Lee, the web could not be as open and independent as it is today. In the year 1994, Tim Berners-Lee joined MIT, that is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and here he founded the International World Wide Web Consortium, or W3C, which maintains the standards and compatibility of standards for the web. HTML has evolved a lot after its creation. So just after 1991, in 1995, we had HTML 2.0. In it, many new features were added and it was a basic improvement over the existing HTML. In 1997, World Wide Web Consortium recommended the use of HTML 3.2 standard, because before this, there were several companies in the market which came into competition, and the Netscape Navigator, especially the Netscape Navigator, was a winner and had created several proprietary tags which were supported only by the Netscape Navigator web browser. So, the people who developed their web pages for this browser could not open the same pages that nicely with the other web browsers, because the other web browsers were not aware of those tags or could not implement those tags. So, in order to maintain the standard and to maintain the uniformity as well as compatibility, W3C released HTML 3.2 in 1997, which remained a standard till 1999. In 1999, HTML 4.01 was released, and it focused on internationalization and support for HTML's new supporting design language, that was CSS, that is Cascading Style Sheet. HTML 4.01 was very well supported by Microsoft's Internet Explorer, and most of the modern web browsers except Netscape were able to implement these standards very properly. Then, in the year 2000, XHTML 1.0 was released by W3C. XHTML was based on XML, that is Extensible Markup Language, and here there were some restrictions on the code, that is the people had to write the proper syntax and it was case sensitive. So all the previously written pages could not be supported and their pages were messed up, because earlier the HTML code was very supportive to the user, means a simple mistake was simply ignored. But in case of XHTML, the simple mistakes could not be ignored and there was an error on the web page. So this version of HTML was not very popular. So after this, there was no other version of XHTML released, and HTML 4.01 remained the standard, popular with most of the browsers. In the year 2014, HTML5 standard was released, and this time W3C along with WHATWG, that is Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group, in collaboration with W3C developed the HTML5 standard. The aim was to standardize many new ways to encourage best practices with regards to web development. In HTML5, there was much focus on separating the design from the content. For example, the basic HTML could be written separately and all the styling information could remain separately in a different style sheet file or the CSS file. In HTML5, we have a support for rich media experiences without the need for plugins. Like earlier we had to use the Flash players or the Java plugins in order to have some of the contents displayed in the web pages. But now without those plugins also we can have the contents rendered very well. There has been an effort to separate the task of the different types of technologies or the languages working as a web technology. For example, for the content we can use HTML, and for presentation we can use the CSS, and for interactivity of the web page, that is for validation at the client side or making the buttons behave dynamically in response to the events of the users, we can use JavaScript. And this way we have the HTML evolved from what it was in 1991. So this was a brief overview of HTML and its evolution so far. Now let's talk about the things required for learning HTML. In order to write the code, you will use any text editor which comes by default with your operating system, or you can have it downloaded also. So a few examples are like Notepad, TextEdit. You can also go for Notepad++ on Windows platform, or you can go for Sublime Text on Mac or Linux. In order to see the output of the code, or in order to see how the pages will appear in a browser, we need some web browsers for testing. And those web browsers can be Google Chrome or any web browser which comes by default with your operating system, or Mozilla Firefox. You can even use Opera or any other web browser. So there is no restriction on which one you should use, but these are the most popular ones which are popularly used by the developers. You can also go for WYSIWYG editors. What is WYSIWYG? It is what you see is what you get. Using these kind of editors, you can edit the pages in the preview mode. That is, you will see the page as it will appear in the web browser, and you will be able to make the changes in that view only. So these are very easy to work with, and you readily get the effect displayed in front of you. The most popular WYSIWYG editors are the Dreamweaver, or you can use Visual Studio, that is by Microsoft, or you can use NetBeans, and there are so many like this. In the next video we will talk about the different tags and elements and the procedure for creating and saving the web pages. Thank you.